Ep1.
You know what happens?
1, 2.
Rest in peace, B.I.G.
Check me out right here, yo.
Yo, it's Mr. Victory or nothing. Yeah, I do a lot of talking, but I ain't about bluff. Got a problem on air, we gon' sit and discuss it. And your mind and your soul, yeah, you know that I plan on touching. That's right, nobody else is this tight. So when I'm saying something, make sure that it's right. Won't ever embarrass myself by assuming IQ is high in music. You should tune it. I sure be 2 levels above them, baby. Trust me, baby, the fans is gonna love me, baby. Talking crazy, but it ain't nothing but jokes. And that revenue gon' leave us far from broke. So the only thing left now, say yes to your boy. Don't think about it, stop second guessing your boy. I'ma win cause the Lord blessing your boy. Other stations gon' compete and they need a better ploy.
Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. You know what it is when you hear the music. Alright, you know who it is. It's your boy, me, Mr. Victory or Nothing, also known as Marcus. Yes, I said that also is my real name because I just want y'all to know what I'm promoting here on this Victory or Nothing podcast show. Man, episode number 1. Well, not really episode. It's more just like listen number 1 because this is my first time recording this, the Victory or Nothing show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. But it's not as long as a show or podcast. So just to give you an idea what's going on here. I was born in 82. So, you know, I go by that phrase where they say, you know, 80s raised me. 80s baby, 90s raised me, whatever it is. And I feel like I grew up in the golden era of hip hop. And I feel like, you know, with everything that's gone on over hip hop, particularly today, I feel like it gets a bad rap. You know, they think people aren't talking about anything, but they've always thought that, man. Hip hop has been getting trashed for decades now. So I just wanted to use the Victory or Nothing podcast show, listen, whatever you want to call it, just to provide a little motivation. I feel like rappers be dropping gems in their songs and their verses, and we don't necessarily pay attention to it. So each week I wanted to pick out a song from a hip-hop artist, a verse, whatever the case may be, just to share with you and then give you some insight on it, on how it could uplift you, give you a sense of victory, a sense of pride, because once again I am Mr. Victory or Nothing. So and I call myself that because my hashtag, my motto is hashtag Victory or Nothing. So if I'm always promoting victory or nothing, like, then that makes me Mr. Victory or Nothing. So I just wanted to play a verse, play a song, whatever the case may be, and something that I think is dropping gems, and then I want to just give you a little take on it. So this week, for episode number 1, even though I feel I was born in the golden era of hip hop, I'm actually taking a song from recent history. Today, I'm taking Kendrick's verse off of ironically, the Victory Lap album, which is Nipsey Hussle's album. Side note, if you haven't heard the Victory Lap, man, you are missing out. Go hear the Victory Lap album, man. Nipsey did his thing on that joint. So if y'all ain't heard that, man, check that out. But I'm actually going from the song that features Kendrick Lamar. It's called Dedication. And yeah, I think Kendrick spit some bars in this joint that I think are prevalent to today, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But here's Kendrick's verse on the Dedication song featuring Nipsey Hussle. Well, it's Nipsey Hussle featuring Kendrick Lamar on Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap album. So check, well, not the whole verse, but check his verse out.
I spent my whole life trying to make it, trying to chase it. The cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it. You take a lost shit, don't cry about it, just embrace it. Mine a setback for major comeback, that's my favorite. My nigga L said you do a song with Nip. K-Dot here better grip. I said here man first, you hear the words out his lips about flow. living given to false imprisonment. Listen close, my nigga. It's bigger than deuces and foes, my nigga. Since elementary, we close, my nigga. You're straight like that. I give you the game, go back to the turf and give it right back. For generations, we've been dealt bad hands with bad plans. Prove your dedication by hopping out Grand Ams. We met the premier, politicking with Top Nip and Snoop. Damn, Pac watching the way we groove. Dedication.
Yeah. So that was the second half of Kendrick's verse on the dedication song, which is featured on Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap. And just to give y'all a breakdown of what he says in that, so you can understand why I chose that. From where I started, he said, I spent my whole life trying to make it, trying to chase it. The cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it. You take a loss, shit, don't cry about it. Just embrace it. A minor setback for major comebacks. That's my favorite. So right there, the reason why I thought that was something good to talk about is because with everything that's going on in the Me Too era and whatnot, I really wanted to focus on Bill Cosby, America's dad. I don't know if y'all still view him as America's dad, but the reason why I wanted to focus on him because it's the cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it. I feel like that was something that was really lacking with Bill. A few years ago, he was talking a lot, 5 to 6 years. He was doing a lot of talking about, talking down to young black people, the younger generations, talking about, pull your pants up, speak the king's language and all of that other stuff. And it was all good. The other side was loving Bill when he was putting us down. And so I just think it's ironic that now, he's gone through all of this stuff. He was found guilty. We all know what's going on. He had all those sexual assault, sexual harassment claims and whatnot. And so I just feel like when Kendrick says the cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it, I just felt like that was really key because Bill has had an amazing platform forever, and he's had such a positive image forever. But even with his amazing platform and his positive image, he spent a lot of time down in young black people, down in the hip hop generation, down in young comics. I mean, comics have been saying for years how Bill talks to them. I mean, Eddie Murphy talks about it, and he's old. He's a legend. Well, not old, but he's a legend. He's been around forever, and he talks about him. Raw or Delirious, one of them, he does a skit where he's having a conversation with Richard Pryor talking about some of the things that, Bill Cosby said to him about his act. D.L. Hughley has gone on record. I heard Keenan, I don't remember if it's Keenan or Kel. Which one is the big one? Keenan or Kel? Whichever one that's on Saturday Night Live. He recently did an interview last couple of months or so on the Breakfast Club. And he talked about like the negative energy that Cosby gave when he did the Fat Album movie. So I felt like Bill has had this platform forever and he didn't, really use it to, well, some would say he did with all the money that he gave the HBCUs and all that. And that's fine and dandy. You help educating and whatnot. But publicly, you did a lot of criticizing and he did a lot of, degrading and berating and stuff to young blacks. So it's just unfortunate that he didn't, use his platform really to unify us more so than divide us, because I mean, like I said, the other side was loving him when he was talking down. And so, it's just unfortunate. But when Kendrick says the cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it, it's like, man, we all should have that mindset. Like, we should be out here trying to break that mindset. We should be out here, trying to stop the division, but, be more unified to one another, particularly those who got a voice like Bill Cosby, like Kendrick does and whatnot. So when I heard that, I just thought, how ironic that with everything going on with Bill right now, he didn't use it, particularly the last decade or so. He didn't use his platform to be a unifier more so than a divider. So it's just amazing how things tie in. Go down deeper so you can hear all these lyrics, because I think it's super tight. He was like, after he say a cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it. You take a loss, shit, don't cry about it, just embrace it. minus setbacks for major comebacks. That's my favorite. Now there, first of all, let me say I'm a DC sports fanatic. I'm from Washington, DC, born and raised. So I love the Wizards, the Redskins, the Nationals, the Capitals. But right now I got to give a shout out to the king, LeBron James, man. He been out here balling. And the reason why I bring up LeBron is because he was like, you take a loss, don't cry about it, just embrace it. Minus setback for major comebacks. That's my favorite. I feel like LeBron had everything going against him. You know, mom was 15, 16 when she had him, never met his pops, grew up in the project. Like all the narratives he had against him, you know, being a typical young black man growing up in America, like he didn't use those as setbacks. Like he just took that energy, he used it to drive him, motivate him, and that's where his major comeback, or in this case, you know, just his presence, who he is, who he has become. Like, understand, LeBron James has been famous since he was 15 years old. They put him on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 15, call him the chosen one, the king, the next big thing, all that. First of all, most people with the expectations that he had on them don't live up to it. He lived up to the hype. So that's number one. With everything gone against him, he lived up to the hype. But then, not only did those setbacks not affect him, he used them to have a comeback, or in this instance, you know, thrust himself into the limelight, thrust himself to have a platform, thrust himself to being one of the two best basketball players in NBA history. But then on top of that, he's an even better man. Because he's taking his resources, he's taking his voice, and he's using them to try to make things better for the next generation. Like, just to go down some of the things, like he's always speaking on social injustice issues. He is literally giving $40 million to the city of Akron, where he's from, Akron, Ohio, for any child who wants to go to college that may not have a way. He has $40 million set aside through his programs or whatever that will give those students the opportunity to go to college if they choose to go to. So, like, not only has he excelled on the court, but he has excelled off the court. He's not only a great basketball player, he's a better man. And so when you go down deeper into these lyrics, Kendrick talks about, he says, my nigga L said you do a song with Nip. K-Dot, he a better Crip. So just the whole side note in regards to that whole dynamic. You know, Nipsey is a Crip. He grew up, you know, Crip neighborhood, Kendrick blood. So, you know, they got that whole dichotomy in itself, the whole Crips and Bloods thing. You know, they not supposed to like each other or whatever. But he said, K-Dot, he a better Crip. And then Kendrick's response says, he a man first. You hear the words out his lips about flourishing from the streets to black businesses, level 4 y'all living, given through false imprisonment, living. So, you know, just to black businesses about flourishing from the streets and whatnot. Like, that is the epitome of what LeBron James has done. Like, you know, I came from nothing and I'm trying to make something. Because later on, it goes down. He says, yeah, straight like that. I give you the game, go back to the turf and give it right back. In other words, take what you learned about business. Take all the things that you've learned through life, your hard lessons, your goods, your ups and your downs, and then go ahead and give that information back. Once again, I could relate that to LeBron and I could relate it to Bill because, like I said, like Bill was, you know, giving monies to HBCUs and whatnot, but with his words and his presence and his energy, he wasn't giving positivity back to those places that he came from. He was giving that negativity. And the opposite, LeBron, is like, look, man, yeah, he always says, yeah, I've become this and that, and, you know, I'm the greatest, or I'm one of the greatest basketball players in the world. But he always stresses about we don't need another great basketball player coming from our communities. We need lawyers, we need doctors, we need judges, we need politicians, we need engineers. And so he's always trying to push that message. Look, I mean, I made it, yes, but everybody isn't me. Everyone isn't 6'8", 270, can run like a cheetah, can leap like a gazelle. Like, he has all the physical attributes and tools to be the best basketball player in the world, but everyone may not have that. But guess what? You can still be productive and help society and help your community by being in positions that will help us further our agendas as a people. So when he say go back to the turf and give it right back, man, this whole verse, man, it was just something that really spoke to me, and I just wanted to share that with y'all for this week's moment of victory. Like, you know what I'm saying? Take these jewels that Kendrick spitting on this dedication song on Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap. Side note, if y'all haven't learned yet, we're going to talk about a lot of victory because my name is Mr. Victory or Nothing. And I just want to give people that type of energy. Like I just talked about Bill Cosby giving off negative energy. I want to give you that positive energy. I want to give you the victory feeling. And that's victory in whatever you got going on, man. If you into sports, fine. If you want some victory in your relationships, your finances, whatever the case may be, man, I want us to be winners in every aspect of our life. So that's why I'm Mr. Victory or Nothing. I'm a motivator at heart. Like it comes natural to me. So on top of that, just being a product of the hip hop, the golden era. I say the golden era. Some say it was the era before mine, which is the 90s, because 90s raised me. Some say, well, no one says it's the era after ours because, well, I don't want to knock the young. Well, you know what? I'm going to knock the young boys. Let me say, hey, look here. Most of the newer stuff, it really doesn't have substance, but there is substance in some of these artists, and Kendrick is one of those. Like I said, I found this song. So if you haven't heard it again, go listen to Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap. Man, it's black excellence in one album. He's talking about, businesses, and he's really giving game, and everything ain't shoot 'em up, bang, bang. Even though he is a gang member or he come from gang culture, that's not what this album is about. And I think it's not exhibited any better than on this song dedication, the one he got with Kendrick Lamar. So that's this week's number one, the first listen episode podcast, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it, but this week's the first moment, and plenty to come. Again, this is your moment of victory. I'm your host, Marcus, aka Mr. Victory or Nothing. And if y'all could see me right now, man, straight up, I'm cheesing hard out here because, man, number one is in the books. Number one is in the books, man. So come back next week. Hopefully you liked it and you'll come back. Share a friend, let them know what's going on. I got a YouTube page, Mr. Victory or Nothing. So you could go there to hear these. That's where I'm going to be posting them. I also put it on my website, MrVictoryOrNothing.com. That's MrVictoryOrNothing.com. You want to follow me on social media, on IG, that's Mr. Victory or Nothing, or Twitter is Mr. Victory or Nah, because you only got a certain amount of spaces, so characters, so I couldn't say the whole nothing, man. So that's Mr. Victory or Nah on Twitter. And yeah, man, look forward to y'all coming back. Number one is in the books. Yeah, you know what happens when the music come on. You know that sound. Rest in peace, B.I.G. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.